matter because I still need to do the turning on the microphones. But the intro worked. It is way too short. If anybody has seen it, that's way too short. I'll make a longer one. But hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome back to Always the Worst with me and Mark.
Yes, it's Mark and me.
I don't have a name at this point. I'm just
the
guy at the other side. A little bit of quick update news for everyone. Next week, Micheal should be back. That is what he's told me.
Return of the King.
Yeah, and he's got decent internet, so he won't be as robotic. So it's got to
But then he won't be the android anymore.
Or he's just had an upgrade.
Yay!
Micheal, the upgraded android. So if you're watching, Micheal, it'll be awesome to see you again. And, you know, get back on here talking rubbish, and maybe we can get off this train wreck that is gaming films.
Yeah, and it'll be fun to hear you talk for once.
Yep, none of to kind of get subtitles and decipher it through whatever binary code that you're giving us.
I think he said gesplurg or splorg.
So today, I have nothing else lined up. Normally I come in with something left field to talk about before we get going.
Oh, wow.
I have nothing.
You got nothing?
Nothing. I watched a couple of films that were okay this week, and nothing worth talking about for the first time ever.
Yeah, like, I just honestly, like, obviously, so we had a discussion like yesterday, so we pretty much caught up with the only other movies we watched this week. Should we give out a wee spoiler for anyone that what we're doing next, or is that?
Well, what we'll do is does that feel like an end, like at the end talk about like this is the big news, or is this a now thing?
No, well, we can leave it.
We'll leave it.
Yeah, we can do it now. Whatever. Yeah, do it now.
Let's
okay,
do it now.
right, you sure?
Right, So, me and Mark had a discussion yesterday after he ruined Annihilation for me and put me right off doing deep dives with him now because I keep throwing these films that I thought were great first viewings, and then I watch second view, go, do you know what? No, that's good, but I'm into this. And then he goes, you're wrong. So thank you.
A deep dive for me means a deep dive straight into a cesspool, right? That's where we're going with this.
So after that, I decided, after many weeks of putting off,
suffering under me, and just put me out the podcast.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm leaving, guys.
That's it.
This is my last show.
It's going to be just me now bitching about you and Micheal. Just like, you guys left me. I hate you all. But anyway,
no.
What's happening?
Real story.
What's happening is we're going back to do things live again because we do such a long format way of doing this that the editing process of it is so convoluted for us just having a conversation that the time invested is not worth the time, especially putting up to YouTube where we don't really have anybody watching. If anybody watches, just come here. You want to see us make a tit of ourselves when we talk about things.
Yep.
Well, because of that, we're going back to live on deep dives and more likely the Simpsons one as well. Probably we'll have to have a wee chat with Micheal, see about what we're going to do with that.
Get gun to his head.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything about that until me and Micheal have a talk about what's the best course of action for us on that one. But at this moment in time, deep dives are going live. Yeah. So that means,
fuck it, we'll do it live.
Yeah. So that means if you've got any movie recommendations that you just think are a wee bit too serious, wee bit too up there, highbrow for the Friday cast.
Highbrow, as the what was it? The reports from the screenings of Annihilation said too intellectual,
yes.
too highbrow,
yes, too hipster as fuck is probably the best way to put it. If you've anything like that, bring it over there, and I am going to be putting a way more effort in on our like social media stuff and everything else about actually really promoting this. Our streaming days at this moment in time should be the same, but I'm going to fix all that. We'll have a discussion about our best way of going forward to turn this into more of a streaming podcast than sit down, record it, watch it whenever you want. If you want to watch it, you need to be here. That's the way it goes. So how exciting is that?
Yeah, it's like we're going to just make like Fridays in particular just like as interactive as possible. If anyone's got anything to say, shout it out. We'll mention you. We'll just get your opinions on the air.
Yeah,
And as long as they're appropriate.
yeah, yeah. If you make fun of me, you're not getting anything read. But if you make fun of everybody else, I'll be right there for you. I'm your man. The reason as well was I enjoy the interaction on the Friday one. So on the Friday one now, it is very much, they used to kind of half ignore the chat because I was like, we're talking about films, we should be in it. And I'm like, nah, I love that. It's brilliant. So that's got to be like a bigger part. I've realised the error of my ways, my old man ways of thinking YouTube is the way forward. It's not. It's not. Need to get in with this young man game.
YouTube Live, we could just fuck it, go over there and be the pioneers of the platform.
Yes. I seen an interesting thing about that. We'll talk about Sonic at some point. I'm just trying to avoid it as long as possible. Right. So I was watching a channel called Plat Chat and they did their first live. Oh man, ways, stop with your nonsense. I am actually a 60-year-old stuck in my wee 30-year-old body. Thomas, you've worked with me. You've seen me come into work with goddamn proper old man cardigans on.
Like, I honestly sometimes forget that you are younger than me, and it confuses me to no level how much of a boomer you are sometimes.
I know, right? It's so bad. But yeah, they did their first live session, this channel I watched on YouTube, and they were reviewing an Overwatch thing. And this is the weirdest thing. So in OBS, Streamlabs, whatever streaming thing that you use, you click start stream. And you go, that's you, you're up, you're running, everybody's here. Turns out on YouTube, you start streaming, and then you have to go to YouTube Studio and click streaming again. So they were streaming for 15 minutes with not a soul watching it.
That sounds like an error maybe on OBS's part, though, if they haven't got the setup properly, because that used to be a thing for Twitch, but it was you basically inputted your Twitch keys and stuff into the software, and it automatically did it for you.
Right.
So maybe it's not fully updated yet. I don't
know. But it's good to know.
Yeah, good to know.
Yeah,
because we would just be sitting there chatting away for 5 hours and no one's watching.
Yeah,
just like usual.
Yeah, that's how we do it over here. So
self-burn.
The last thing was, this is just not an update. This is just what I've been up to this week. I watched I Am Mother, which God damn, I wish I never watched it because that is such a deep dive film. That is like a film for the deep dive. It is so good. It's so much to take in, even though it's a cast of 3.
Oh, I love that kind of thing when it's just
so good.
Minimalist.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I could ruin it for you in some way. Don't you worry.
Oh, more likely. It's such a fantastic ride, and the twists are pretty good. It's
right.
Everything's set
Don't tell me there's twists, because
No.
now I'm expecting twists. What have you done?
Or is that the twist of me telling you there's a twist? Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart man.
She is not mother. She is father. Dun dun dun. Yep.
Yep. So, if you've not seen I Am Mother, very quickly, AI raises a baby in the apocalyptic world. Go watch it, because I can't give any more away.
Yep. It's basically the story of Elon Musk and his newborn child.
This feels like the story of Elon Musk meeting the AI that is Grimes, creating a half AI, half human baby offspring.
Yep.
Yep, that is very much.
That's what they've done. Yeah.
So. I can't. They're not real. They're not real people.
I can't. No. Right. So, in case anyone's forgotten, because I know we have.
Yeah.
We watched Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, because you all wanted a fucking video game month.
The month is ended, by the way. This is the last one before August, I'm sure.
Oh, heck yeah. No more video game movies.
Yay. We
never got a chance to watch Prince of Persia. That was the best one.
Thomas, what do you mean month? That's right.
It's forever.
Yeah, no, we will come back to that eventually. In 6 years' time.
Oh my god. So this film, let's just kind of get a brief history of each other then. You a Sega fan?
Me? Do you know what? Out of the two, I enjoyed Sonic more than Mario. Out of the two, kind of.
Okay, fair enough.
The big franchise people.
That was kind of either or. I mostly owned the Nintendo, but I played a lot of Sega games with other people.
Turns out next Friday's the 31st. I've got one more.
Thomas, just get out of the chat.
Yeah.
Stop
Did did,
talking.
did you
We
know
don't need
it?
calendars here.
Did you not know it was 30 days has July?
But I mean, I am not one who's fussed about when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog, though. I mean, like,
No.
let's face it, he is a nothing character.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, and anyone who like takes a lot of time to think about the canon of Sonic and what they should be doing with the character, just needs to kind of take a good hard look at what they've been doing with their life.
The only Sonic canon that I think's brilliant is Sonic Underground, because for some reason they're all rock stars. It was a
That was a
cartoon.
very, very strange cartoon.
Oh, it was so good though. There was like they were like proper kids versions of themselves, and they were sarky. And I actually remember watching the original Sonic cartoon where it
There was,
was
like,
in
We
like
gotta eat chili dogs.
yeah. It's like the reason he got into most of these bother was it had to stop running away. He'd go get a chili dog, and then he would cause the thing. And then you had the kind of chicken-looking robot and the other robot with like the sidekick villains.
The one that sounded like Patrick
Yeah.
from SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Oh no, Mr. Robotnik's gonna hate us.
That was a
fucking...
good. That was a good cartoon. That was fucking nuts. That was like so
Like,
bonkers.
I love that they just kind of like did whatever they wanted because again, like when it comes to Sonic, there is no real
No.
structure. Let's
No.
face it, like you've got a hedgehog that's blue, so it's not even a hedgehog. It's got cat ears. It's nothing. Who cares? Like just do what you want with it. Like go out there and make a shit film, make it whatever you like.
Yeah, basically when they came to the games, we just need something that's super recognizable. So they gave that look. They went, why don't we make him a bright color with spiky hair and gigantic eyes? That's cool. And as a game, especially the original games, worked beautifully because of that. Because there was something really different about their games at first. Because all the other platformers were slower. It was about being thinking. It was like platformers weirdly were more of a thinking game at times with like all the kind of Metroidy nonsenses.
And like Mega Man, where you had to get the exact pixel jumps and stuff like that.
Where the Sonic came in, just run this way and press down every now and then.
The weird thing about Sonic is that's the best way to complete a level, but for some reason there's 100 other stuff in there, and like you never ever see it because you don't have to.
Because what you'll do is you'll try and jump to one of those bits that are kind of bonus areas of it, miss it the first time and just go, it doesn't matter, and just keep going.
It's like, I'll come back to it in 60 years' time if I'm that bored. Like, yeah. So, like, it's had many adaptations over its time, and each one is just whatever. Like, none of them like kind of connect together. None of them even make sense. They all just have the characters, and that's it. So, when it comes to someone making a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, there's not a lot to lose in that regard.
Nope.
Really? Is there?
No, not really. It's like genuinely you could shove him in any circumstance. Like you could have went, let's put Sonic in his world and Robotnik in his world, and Sonic's an actual thing. Or they could do what this film did and went, he's an alien from another planet. He ended up here, which again makes sense because there's no sense to Sonic.
Yep. I mean, it showed that he existed in his Sonic the Hedgehog world and decided to come to ours as
because an
way
owl
to
told
escape.
him.
An owl told him to. An owl that
I don't know that owl.
shares no art direction with the rest of the characters in the rest of the movie.
Yeah, like that owl is so hyper detailed and like out of remember that film about the owls a few years ago.
Gahul or something like what was it? Like the Legends of something?
Legends of
It
Owls.
was it's Zack Snyder's animated debut.
So one of them just kind of got lost in the final battle and found a blue hedgehog.
Like I'm glad you said that because I assumed that they just ripped the model. Like I thought they did that. Like they just dumped it in there.
You're like, oh, that's cool. That has that look of somebody's did a model on like the Unreal store and went, do you know what, mate? I can't be bothered paying for this. We'll just grab that one.
just grab that. But this is where I like at that point it actually made me think about the original design for the Sonic movie.
Yeah.
You remember where he looked kind of like a weird rat human hybrid?
Yeah.
And I'm like, was her design kind of just a leftover from when they all looked a bit more like animalistic? Is that maybe what it is?
That's exactly what that is. That is basically they wanted this kind of realism to it and then changed their mind and forgot about her.
Yeah, and that's fine. She's only in it for like 5 seconds, so why would you waste your animation?
Her look, because she's maybe wise and like the person that's teaching them. You go, right, fair enough. You look a bit more put together.
Yeah. Whereas everyone else is apparently Knuckles in this universe
I
as
know you get all
well.
the echidnas, and you're like, they could have at
Yeah.
least threw Knuckles and like have a red one, just as
Yeah.
like, see the one that shoots the arrow, that kind of
Yeah.
sets off the whole thing. Just make them red, bright red, and go, oh, there's your wee nod to Knuckles because they were not.
Big fucking
Yeah, because they
fists.
weren't
Yeah.
scared to just throw in nods everywhere.
Yeah.
Some of them made sense. Others are just like, right, we get it. It was a cartoon before. It was a game before.
Yeah. But again, I can't be precious about this. Like,
No,
I'm just gonna like go out and say it like right now because I'm kind of getting to the point where like this movie, I wish it was worse.
right. I totally get you. Because see, a bad film, usually,
Hmm.
see if it's bad, it means they've tried something and it failed.
Exactly.
Do you know what this film was for me? Boring.
It's fucking safe,
Yeah,
is what it is. Like, it just treads every line so finely
yeah,
that it doesn't do anything creative
yeah,
or anything interesting.
yeah,
Like, if you're like, yeah, as you say, Sonic Underground, he's a fucking rock star. It doesn't make any sense. It's either it's
yeah.
polarizing. It's either good for some people or shite for other people. This, on the other hand, is just I sat there going, yeah,
I was the thing.
uh-huh.
I was watching this, and every now and then I caught myself just looking at my phone, not realizing that I'm just sitting there playing with my phone as well. Because I went, "Oh my god, this is not brought through me in." And I am big for films that are ridiculous, like dumb like this, and
Yeah.
it couldn't pull me in. And one of the big things that actually made me kind of go, "Ugh," was see the amount of like nowadays references kicking about of like he does the
Mm.
floss and then it,
Stuff that dates it like
yeah,
because even the floss thing dates
yeah,
it like
yeah,
instantly.
and then he's
Like
talking about, oh, I'm doing my live stream and all these other things about Sonic, and I'm just like, he lives in a goddamn hole in the ground. Like he's
yeah.
not really introduced.
Now he's been spying on
Yeah,
people, but he's been watching like old films and
yeah,
stuff. That's apparently Sonic is just this giant voyeur,
yeah,
right? And he came to our planet just to stare at people through the windows. We only get to see the nice parts where he's watching them like
yeah.
when they're watching family movies and stuff. Don't get to see what else he's maybe watched.
Oh dear heavens,
Dirty bastard.
he is.
Right. But so he's terrorizing this fucking town apparently in the nicest way possible. And only one person seems to know he
Yeah, the
exists. This
crazy.
crazy old.
Yeah. Oh,
But he's not really crazy because he literally is telling the truth. But
that guy's best moment is just at
mhm.
one point he decides to bring a chainsaw to a rocket fight.
Oh, Chris, you're just on time. It's 5 minutes in, and you've already talked about the
Yeah. Again, no
ending.
one
Yeah.
knows that's the ending until unless you
Um,
say. But yeah,
but
that was
he
hilarious.
has another good moment where he has the Sonic drawing.
Hmm.
Like he actually holds up the classic Sonic the
Yeah.
Hedgehog drawing, the gotta go fast image
Well,
that everyone knows and loves.
do you know something I
Uh,
really enjoyed actually, just very quickly, is see the rings had the sound effects from the game when they used the rings.
oh yeah,
I
like the club.
loved that. I thought that was such a nice. That's how you do a reference. Like that's such a lovely
Yeah, yeah.
touch. Where some of the other references, like the whole Eggman, constantly. I'm just like,
Because he had eggs as robots
see
and
the
stuff.
first time he done it, funny. It was quite funny
Mm.
because he was like, "Oh, look at you, your eggs, Eggman." I'm like, "Okay," and then he just started calling him it. Don't. I was like, "Please don't," because the worst thing they did to
I,
Robotnik was call him Eggman and change his name to
well,
Eggman because he sounds fucking.
his name was always Eggman. Unfortunately, that was the
I
problem.
always
Like
loved.
the Robotnik thing was just made up for um American audiences, I think. But this is where we get to that point where like I think they have to if they actually are um like licensed by Sega to use the proper character names and stuff. So they can't call him Robotnik for forever. They'll just change his name to Eggman or something for the if they make a sequel
Yeah,
or something along those lines. But I mean, what can you really say about this film? I mean, like it has a plot, it has characters. They're okay. It never like once makes a bad step.
yeah.
But
It's so diluted as a film. It's like
mm,
it's to the point where it made me go see when they did all the slow mo stuff, which was really cool. Like the slow,
that's the best
yeah,
moments. Yeah, like those are quite cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
And but it made me even with them, it made me go, hmm. Because the biggest problem with slow mo is X Men done it beautifully
Yeah.
with people. Now when you see it in this very the CGI version of it, you're like, it's not as
Yeah.
fun as it once was. But what I did like was I liked Sonic's personality. I liked his kind of character. I thought he was pretty fucking cool.
Yep. What do you call him? John Ralphio himself from Parks and Rec.
Yes, yeah, that's the thing. I was like, going, I know this voice. I really know this voice, and I looked him up because I had to, and I was like, oh my god, he needed. Why he didn't do a singy part of like the John Ralphio singing of like I'm
Yeah.
always broke. I was like, why didn't you do that, man? It'd be so fucking good.
Yeah. He's like, I think honestly, is it Jason Schwartz? Is that what his name is? I think so.
The
Like,
actor's name?
someone Google it for me. Yeah, I think it is. But no, it's Ben
Ben
Schwartz. Sorry,
Schwartz, yes.
Ben Schwartz. Yeah, Ben Schwartz is hilarious, right? And he's really good at like just doing improv and stuff off the top of his head. So you can tell that he probably carried a lot of what made Sonic fun.
Yes.
Like, and there's because there's a lot of good comedy moments that only happen with like Sonic, but only when he's by himself.
Yeah.
Like the only one I find myself like actually properly chuckling at is when he's like sitting in the car having to wait and he keeps looking out the side and seeing like the really cool biker bar like right next to him and he's just like, you're, oh my god, I have to. It's just like you can tell he's like, you're penned up. He's like, oh, I need to get in there. It looks so cool.
Yeah.
And you're...
It's like him himself is so good. It's like, do you know what made this film better? That it was something I noticed instantly. It was he partnered up with an adult.
Yeah.
When I think of these films like this, they partner up with a kid.
Yeah, I was because in my head I'm thinking of stuff like Beethoven or like those kind of like dog films or something like that. It's partnered with a child sort of.
Yeah, and then see with him being like an alien stuff, it made me think of stuff like Iron Giant. They showed him the world, or like E.T., Flight of the Navigator. They have like this anchor, and then it make every reference that he's into make sense because this kid's kind of showing them the way a kid sees today. And then even if it's dated, it makes sense because it's from the vision of a kid in the like late 2019 teens or whatever it is, early 20s. But the minute they put him up with this kind of almost straight man alt version kind of guy that has a couple of jokes, but they don't land. I'm like, I get it. You don't want to have kid and kid, but that's what makes it funny. Like Bumblebee.
See, that's the kind of thing. It's like that's what creates the dynamic against, in my opinion, like if you had someone like Robotnik, who is clearly like, he's not an idiot, but he's like he's a comedy character, right? Okay, like he's your kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon villain, right? He really plays it up. Like Jim Carrey does a fantastic job of being this kind of like overly condescending, maniacal weirdo, right? Doing Jim Carrey as Jim Carrey does it. If that's paired up against kids, it now becomes funnier because they're like finding slapstick silly ways to kind of get out of his clutches, and his threat levels kind of decreased.
Yeah, because I did not like Jim Carrey in this. I did not like his character, but I think it's to the point that you're making. See, because he's against adults, and adults look at him exactly the way we look at him, they're going, "You're a fucking idiot. Shut up. I will punch you in the face." And then he gets punched in the face. It means that he's just a dick. He's just and it's not like in a funny way. It's just like, you're a
I don't
dick.
know. I kind of enjoy like how overly condescending he was. Like I felt like that was something that was like.
Do you know what it is? I just don't like Jim Carrey turn up to 11. 9 times out of 10, I feel like when he gets given free reign, he just go nutty. It's just like, oh, this is like I was exhausted. Like watching him just exhausted me.
All right. I mean, like it's not like liar levels of overacting or anything like that. I kind of feel like it's got the character stays consistent at least, you know, because he always kind of snaps back to like the idea of like, well, I'm still fucking better than you. He doesn't like just go what until the end.
But see that version of him with the bald and the gigantic mustache and the kind of the way he was talking and thinking to himself, I'm going, man, I kind of like this version of him. This kind of slightly skewed version of who he is. I'm like,
this is what like so as Thomas says, like see for like a sequel, right? Like see if they go for that kind of like over the top kind of like, you know, weird version of Sonic. I think that would be better. See if it was set in Mobius, is that what it's called? Mobius is the place it's from. Like see if it's set there. Everything else is animated CGI, but it's just fucking Jim Carrey against all these cartoon weirdos. That movie probably would hold up a lot better, and I feel like it would just more enjoyment to it.
I think, as you're saying, the anchor to the real world is what ruins this. The real world element, because it's like seeing Robotnik's drones and stuff. I'm like, these are pretty fucking cool, but in the world of Sonic, they are just not entertaining to look at. They're not entertaining that way. Put that in, they say, like a Transformers film or any kind of real action sci-fi. they're fucking amazing drones that are sent after the good guys. But when
Yep.
he's chasing a blue hedgehog who's meant to kind of jump on you to kill you, they're a bit too clean and a bit too high-tech looking for a
Yep.
world that we all know that it's just animals stuck in robots.
So yeah, this is the thing. It's like it's too like it tries to ground itself way too much for what it is, and that's because they are just trying to keep it within this real world limitation, right? All this movie feels like is a giant amount of setup for a sequel.
Yeah.
Right, a better movie that could have been made if they had, I don't know, not failed miserably.
Yeah. And I think that's a shame because they have a chance here now to actually make the good film, because the film itself isn't as you say, it's not terrible, it's
No.
not good, it's lukewarm, but
Yeah.
because of the fucking hassle and the idiotic decisions that they made early on in this film, they've ruined
Yeah.
whatever any profit they make now isn't profit.
I mean,
Because
I
they've
paid
had,
for it, so
yeah,
I mean, gave them that 1.99. They better spend it well.
yeah. But that's
Like,
what I mean. And it's like they've ruined their chance of actually giving it a real hurrah. Because usually your sequel is when you get to go nuts, because you've made enough money, that franchise has done enough that you go, "Do you know what? We'll give you a wee bit more to kind of go for it." Because my idea of trilogies is usually the first one's brilliant because it's interesting, because they usually have a lower budget, so they have to be clever. The
Yeah.
second one is usually takes that one and blows it out of proportion in a way that's amazing. And then the third one, they don't know
kind of
what
go
to.
back to the roots, so they
Yeah.
just kind of copy the first one again.
Yeah,
Sort of
yeah,
thing.
they have no idea what to do with it. They usually don't plan 3 films, and then before you realise it, the third one's either so bloated that it doesn't make sense, or it's a repeat of the other two and doesn't make sense. The only one that doesn't do that for me, and it's one of the only films I think the third one is the best film in the trilogy. Oh, look at that face. Well, I feel like I should leave you in suspense for a minute, so I'm just going to take a moment, going to be quiet. It is The Last Crusade of Indiana Jones. John Connery,
Yeah, I'll
Harrison
give you that.
Ford's the best film, had probably one of the more interesting storylines, because you had all this backstabbing and great stuff happening, a great ending where the world went back
Do you know
to
what?
normal and stuff.
It actually does well. It kind of like, see, Indiana Jones. Was it Raiders of the Lost Ark? Is that the first
Yes.
one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That has this kind of like serial drama sort of fun feel to it. See the second one, which is Temple of Doom, it goes way too fucking far into the cartoony sort of like aspect of it, right?
That's
And
the one
then
where you have the freaking the minecart chase and stuff, and I'm like,
yeah, and like
oh,
the
that's
monkey head eating and the Kalima and all
Yeah.
the kind of jumping up a plane on like a raft and stuff. And then
Yeah.
the third one comes along and goes, what if we just kind of struck this nice little balance between the supernatural elements and like fun,
Yeah.
and just like kind of kept it grounded? And
Oh, it's so good.
it's like the perfect formula. And then they fucked it up by making a fourth one, right? Like,
Because see with that third one, right? I know we're talking about Sonic, but we can't just briefly bring up the third Indiana Jones film about the fact that worked was they went back to their roots of Nazis are bad. We're needing to stop Nazis becoming superpowered, and it's so simple. It worked.
Yep.
And then
That's it.
when they did the supernatural parts, none of that kicked in until the last 15 minutes of the film, when
Yep.
they meet the knight, and then that's the only supernatural part. And now I'm pretty sure that Indiana Jones's dad is going to live a hell of a lot longer than he should do, because he did drink from the goblet. So he's going to have a moment where he lives for quite a long time.
hmm But yeah. Oh, Thomas says that a sequel has been confirmed for Sonic.
Oh man, I love having fact checkers. Use
Right,
our wee people that can push things for us where we can't look.
Well, if that's true, I hope they take that criticism. That maybe, I hope more than just us have said, like, just kind of ditch the real world scenario and go for it. Because who literally gives two shits about a cop from a small town
One day
doing
go to
nothing?
San Francisco,
Cisco,
because
and he's got a girlfriend that's a vet, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
her sister, and every scene with her sister was not
Don't-
needed in this film.
I mean, I think it's they struggled for comedy, and they just
And then
went
they
there.
went and they went so fucking stereotypical with, "I'm your sister. I don't like your man. You need to leave him." With
But they
no,
never gave it justification.
No
Like,
reason. Outside when he actually shows up after being caught a homeland terrorist, then that's a bit of a reason. But and secondly, he is a terrorist of the United States of America, and then they kind of breeze over the fact that he was on the news for probably a week. That everything's fine now. I'm like,
yep.
you do realize you were on the news as a terrorist. This isn't.
Yeah,
This
and
isn't a.
he also walks into a building and shows his ID, and apparently the most wanted man in the whole of the fucking world right now is not wanted at all.
No.
Right. Whatever. Like, as I say, paper thin, pointless. And this is the thing that like really bothers me. Like, I'll show you this as an example, right? This is my notes for this film. Like, it's
Wow.
like it's like
Yeah.
5 lines. Like, I usually write about like a fuck ton more.
Yeah.
Like, a lot more when it comes to anything. Like, here's my like Annihilation just keeps going and going and going, right? Because there's stuff to see in that film. Sonic the Hedgehog literally has nothing wrong with it and nothing right with it.
Yeah.
It's just
Like
I wish I either hated it or liked it, and
Yeah.
I did neither.
Yeah. And that kills me because I hate a film that does that. Because I'm like, see the amount of films I hate, but I'll happily talk about for hours because that's the point. They did their job. The member did their job the way they intended to do, but they did their job. It begins with the, ends in Tor, and has you're a fucking cunt in the middle.
Right. I think that
He still
this
gave-
film is like focus grouped to hell. Like, do you get that kind of feeling
Yeah.
of it? Like, it's
Yeah.
just kind of.
This is the problem. I was talking to Roche about this because she's seen it. See her age group, at least with her. Don't know if I don't want to say she speaks for every 10-year-old on the planet. She loved it. She properly enjoyed it. She had so much fun with it, and I'm like, okay. And do you know why? It had enough references that her brain gets.
Okay.
There were
But-
never any references that were old enough for us to really enjoy, outside of some of the game references. But they really tried to dial in on
No, I
that.
mean, I got a lot of stuff out of this that I kind of like figured out, but like it doesn't like. I didn't find it funny enough to justify that kind of like angle, if you know what I mean. Like, there are films from like the 90s that do very similar formulas, right? Loads of them that exist of that kind of thing. It's like, oh, we've got the little alien, we've got to take around with us, we've got the little pet
Yeah.
that can talk, we've got babies that can talk and stuff like that. All of these films knew they were designed for family audiences because they know that kids are going to be going to see this and the parents are being dragged along.
Yeah.
So they put in as much stuff as they can to keep the parents entertained. I was
No,
not
that
not
wasn't
even
no.
like,
Like, I was-
entertained. Like,
no, I'm totally with you there. Like, my entertainment level of it was, I enjoy seeing Sonic. Like, I enjoy seeing the blue hedgehog, but outside of that, it's like his personality was so brilliant that they just decided, let's put wet blankets next to him because it makes him look better.
Well,
But it didn't feel that
that's what I'm
way.
saying. All I want is fucking Ben Schwartz and Jim Carrey to get together and do the thing, like, because they're the thing we want to see,
Yeah.
and they don't get enough time to fucking
No,
banter against each other and like
it's only
have a
the-
good laugh.
It's only the last act, really, that they have their moment. And then that act is so serious because that's the point. It's the end fight that you don't get banter. You get him powering up. He goes like blue Super Saiyan.
The
and
power of friendship saved me. Like,
yeah, like the Pokemon tears happened. You know,
Yep,
Pikachu cried. You woke up. It was all good. But that got me because I'm just like, one, I'd have liked him to go yellow for just a moment. See when he powers up.
yeah, but remember, it's the Chaos Emeralds that do that, not him himself. So
know,
you
but-
have to leave that in for future movies, Chris.
Yeah, I know, but just a tinge, just like a wee flick of it, of like
Okay.
the Chaos Emerald will bring out his power or some nonsense.
Yeah.
Just so I could go, ooh,
Do you know what I really liked in that scene? Like, there's a really cool shot where like you can see like the menacing looking Sonic in Dr. Robotnik's goggles.
yeah, oh,
like,
so good.
It looks really nice. Like, see that as like as a still frame, the colors,
Oh,
the
yeah,
shadows,
it
the
was so
lights,
good.
and stuff. You're like, oh damn, you did a good scene.
Yeah, like that bit should have been the movie cover. See, like the posters
Yeah.
and stuff, because that was the poster, but it wasn't. But that should have been the poster because that sums up what this film should have been about.
Yeah.
It's like they spend so much time introducing, not so much Sonic, but see the everybody else, like their lives and stuff. Like,
Uh-huh.
cut all that out. Just go, we don't care about them as much. And then give more of Robotnik, because Robotnik never kind of catches up to him until he gets the bit of his hair.
Because he's always he's catching up to him with drones and
Yeah.
stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not necessarily the kind of conflict you want. We want him to be there at the scene and putting the drones
Yeah.
out to him. You
Yeah.
know, that's how Dr. Robotnik fights work. Like,
Yeah.
you want him to be standing in the background going, ah ha ha, now fight
Yeah.
my monster.
Oh my god! Right, I'm just thinking. This is how you kind of salvage this film to get that, to get where you need it to be. So instead of Robotnik chasing them, Robotnik captures the guy because he realizes it's Sonic. That for whatever reason, he finds out. We drone sees that he has a connection with this guy. He finds out what happens at the bar. He knows what happens at the bar. Sonic protected the guy against everybody else, and then he goes, right, finds an opportunity, captures the guy. Then Sonic, instead of needing to leave, because the whole idea is he tries to leave, he gets told no because Robotnik shows up. But instead of doing that, he goes, I can't leave now because I need to save him, even though I don't like the fact that he wants to leave his town, which was, again, stupid storyline to talk about, oh, you stay with the people that... No, shut up. But then he goes after Robotnik, and then you have more Sonic kind of beating his drones and doing the Sonic game of battle his way to Robotnik, and then you have the fight with Robotnik. So, because Sonic doesn't fight in this. Ever really. He has very little...
He smashes into a car, which almost nearly fucking kills him, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh wow, I'm not dead. And it's like, I mean, we get it at the end that he gets his fucking, like, he embraces his powers and starts doing the Sonic thing of going fast and smashing into Robotnik machines, and it's like, cool, too little too late.
Yeah, it's like, and that was a great fight as well.
Mhm.
I loved that fight. You see, like, watching him bounce off the walls, and then it pulls away, and it's like Sonic doing the thing at the end of every Sonic level of just going dunk, 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 dunk until it blows. I'm like, that's fun. There was a lot of fun parts.
See,
but
if
the
like they
fun
did something
parts
like,
didn't have enough in it.
I'm thinking just in my head now, right? Okay, right, can do more references.
Oh,
Like,
Craft.
see when he's done like smashing up the ship and he like flies down and hits the land. Like, he's going so fast that one of the street signs just spins around on the spot and then kind of lands back in place. That would have been like pure.
Yes. See if he'd done that right, and then turns around to look at him, and he still sees it in slow motion falling apart, and just does that thing
Yeah, pure.
of
Taps
waiting.
his toes.
Yeah, just
Like,
waiting for him.
and in the
Yeah.
background or something. That'd be fucking fun. Like, that would be like the reference point. But I don't know. I'm not directing this movie.
Maybe we
But-
should be. Like,
I don't know.
whoever's doing the sequel, fuck them. Get to us.
Like-
We know what we're talking about.
Heads up, it's going to be nothing but Ben Schwartz and Jim Carrey shouting at each other for 50 minutes in a CGI background. Like,
And I swear, it'll cost you like, a quarter of the price. Like, mate, just pay our flights.
fuck it.
That's it. You'll be
Right.
you'll be good in our hotel room.
Tell you what though, someone spent a lot of good money on that credit sequence.
Yes.
That's a fucking cool credit
Yes,
sequence.
that was awesome. Did you watch it after credit stuff? Did you watch both of them?
Oh, that. Yeah, both of them. There's only one.
Well, you have the credit pop up, and then you have Robotnik in the world.
No, that's before the film.
Oh,
even ends.
right, okay. And then you have
Yep.
the introduction of Tails trying to find Sonic.
But
And
Tails
that's
is
it.
in the human world, and that's what made me angry. I was like, no, leave.
Yeah. You are elected to leave.
Like, please, all of you, just go away from this shitty town.
Because the next film's going to be based in that town. Like, it's
Yep.
going to be based in that town. Robotnik's going to find a way to that town. And then it's going to have that thing of, like, almost like the original Thor, where it's just going to be this big battle in a small town.
Actually, that's exactly. See, when I was watching this, I was thinking of Thor and how much I fucking hated how Thor looked because of that. Where it's like this massive thing, but they always took these really wide shots where you saw how tiny the buildings were
Yeah.
and how wide the streets were. I'm like, dude, no, closed angles. And thankfully, the Sonic movie does it better than Thor. But it's still not enough. Like, it's still not enough to get that kind of like sense of scale. And honestly, the problem was with that big battle they have in San Francisco. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was San Francisco.
Right. It's nothing there. Like, we have no one of concern in that town. We have no like risk of
Oh
people
yeah,
being there.
Robotnik killed so many people when he tried to kill Sonic, and it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. At
And he
all.
destroyed national treasures as well. Like,
Oh
just
yeah, see all that nonsense of going to the pyramids and all that. Is like
the Great Wall of China and
Yeah, it was like
yeah.
unnecessary. Like, See if he'd done that by not using the rings and they're running round the world, that would make more sense than them just him using the rings to jump to.
See if it was like he was following him through dimensions like
Yeah,
as well, which would be like kind of like make more sense to me. Like if that's
like
what Sonic knows.
he's actually trying to lose him.
Yeah, and then he gets trapped there because Sonic beats him and then leaves him as he
Yeah,
goes back to be with his friends again. Like something like that would make more sense than it gets pushed into a portal by
yeah,
a guy who's never even. Hey, so this is the key point here. They open up a portal to the Mushroom Kingdom. That's what I'm calling it because it's clearly a reference to Mario.
Yeah.
Right?
I
They open
hate
up
mushrooms.
right, yeah. Like such a cheap little blow, but it's a good
Yeah,
one.
it's a good one.
But they throw it at fucking Cyclops from the X-Men throws out his fucking throws out the ring, and it makes the Mushroom Kingdom, and they get him in, and I'm like, how does he know that place? Because you have to think of it like
Yeah,
in your head. You have to imagine the
yeah.
place you want to go to.
Because the only reason Sonic knew San Francisco, he was seeing his top with the
Mm.
skyline, so he had an image of that skyline, and the ring knew where that skyline linked to.
Yep.
Whereas this dude doesn't know a mushroom world.
Nope.
Probably know
But
he threw him in the middle of space because
to
there
be
was
fair, like
nothing.
might not be the same mushroom world. It might just be a mushroom world, and he was
There's
just like,
hundreds
he
of
was just
mushroom
like,
worlds.
yeah, he was just like pure fuck it, fungus land. Here we go.
Oh my
And he's
god,
like,
he ends up in Mario.
yep.
And it's just him and the old king living their best life with the
Oh my
dinosaurs.
god. Yep. Just busts on into Dinotropolis or whatever the fuck it was called. Yeah.
And then that's a crossover movie. You get
Mhm.
can't pronounce his second name,
Like,
over.
what's that?
Yeah, you get him over as Luigi. I'm like, what happened to Mario? Went, we don't talk about Mario anymore. I am
What
Mario.
happened to Bowser?
Yeah,
We don't talk about Bowser.
not anymore. And then you have that weird Sonic film where it's Luigi's Mansion crossed with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Yes,
There are ghosts. There are
there's something for everybody.
there's Cyclops from the X-Men. Everyone's happy.
Only way you make it complete is put the rock in somewhere. Find how to make the rock.
There was that line that I'm pretty sure was probably a Ben Schwartz line where he
No.
says like, "What year is it? Is The Rock the president yet?"
If only, if
Yep.
only Ben, that slash Sonic. That would have been a good day if he was.
But how many movies is this now that James Marsden's done where he's talked to an animatronic animal for no reason?
Quite a few actually, isn't it?
Actually, say animatronic CGI creations for no reason. Like
Yeah,
he's
he's done a
definitely
few.
got that shit down.
Yeah. It's like his acting was fine. Like to act against nothing, he does grand. Actually, I'll give him his due. Like he did that perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I wish I had more to say, but I actually have nothing to say about this film.
Like honestly, like we could recap the story for you if you wanted, but that's as far as we could go with this film because there's nothing to be said for it, and that bothers me. I don't know if it's a problem with me. Like maybe I need to reassess and like get in touch with my childlike self. And I mean, I think the only thing in this film that actually gave me any kind of like mild emotional resonance was when they built a nice little attic room for him to live in.
Oh, that
And
was
I was like, oh,
lovely.
that's nice. Like they
And
did something nice to him. And I'm like, and that's it.
yeah,
The rest is maybe I could not give a shit. Like,
and his interactions with the dogs are actually gold. Of
yeah.
just like, so number two best friend, why does he like you? And he starts like, oh, that's gross. Oh, okay, I get it. I'm like, oh,
He's like instantly, yeah, I understand. You're good.
yeah,
Like, but yeah, that's it. Cool. 2 moments.
yeah. So that was Sonic. That was not as fun as I thought it was going to be. Like I honestly walked in expecting so much fun, and it just wasn't as fun as I'd have liked it to be. But sadly, we're getting older, and maybe films like that. I think it's again films like that are played towards kids of that age group now, and they'll know exactly
Yeah,
what makes them tick more than
I don't know.
what
Like, I honestly feel like I could probably watch something like the Trolls film and have more of a like an
maybe.
response to it. Probably. Like, I don't know. I've never watched one, but like, I feel like I probably could. Like,
See, that's a hot
there's
take right there. Like
there's a potential.
I could watch this Trolls film and have more fun
Like,
than
I want to watch.
Sonic.
Like, I can watch stuff that's designed for kids and still enjoy it. Like, I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
watch the
no, for
Disney
sure.
films and all these kind of things, but like,
This one just didn't do it.
This one hit me the same way pretty much as Detective Pikachu did, where I'm just kind of like your main character is being carried by a really funny actor, and
Yeah,
the rest of the film is like
yeah.
cool, like that thing
Oh,
happened.
oh my god, that's actually made me think. Like the reason all those films when we kid worked was
Hmm.
they usually got a funny or quite a decent kid actor because they had to carry it because it was an animatronic that couldn't be as big personality as we would like them to be because they didn't have the capacity to do that. Like
Yep,
ET, all these things, it couldn't be over the top and outlandish. Where now as they've got the ability to do that, so as if they've just kind of dropped the ball on the act.
kinda.
Yeah, like but they've really dropped the ball on the acting side of the other person. Like it's a buddy cop film. Like these are always basically kind of like buddy cop films. They need to be able to bounce off each other, and I felt like they two never bounced off each other. Like
It's because
even
you know
when
what he didn't do? He needed to have like actually Ben Schwartz sitting like crouched down in a little ball, right? On set, just going like you're like saying the lines to them.
yeah,
And then they probably would have been like you're like they could bounce off of that,
yeah,
they could have a laugh with it, but instead they're just like,
tennis
I'm going
ball,
to talk to a car seat now.
yeah, with a wee tennis ball,
Ha ha ha, you're so funny, Sonic.
yeah, yeah. It was very one-sided. It felt super one-sided.
Yeah, because the banter between Robotnik and his assistant was funnier and
Yeah,
more entertaining than
he
the
punched him
banter
in the
between.
throat. That poor
Yep.
guy got punched in the throat for no reason. Outside of he went for a high five and went, "Yo, you left yourself open."
Yeah,
You're like, wow. That was because he was pissy
it
because he got punched in the face like twice.
really was. I mean, I don't know. Like, fair play to everyone that was in this film and did their hardest to work with what they had, but eh,
Eh.
eh.
Hopeful for the sequel. I'm actually a bit hopeful for the sequel. If they made enough money to actually put a bit of effort into it, and hope to God that they actually do something with this, Robotnik versus Sonic. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch now. I'm gonna go watch Hop from 2011, where James Marsden had to talk to another CGI character
There we go.
in a completely pointless film about nothing. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So that was Sonic for everyone. I think we've got a wee bit of time here, and there's something that I remembered I wanted to bring up at the beginning. I don't
Mm.
know if you've watched it yet, but I watched it and I have opinions. I watched the second Bill and Ted trailer, and
Oh,
I
is that out? That happened?
yeah, it happened last night, and I am not excited anymore.
I was not excited from the first one.
I
Like,
know that's what I mean. Like you and Michael are both like, okay, where I was quite excited. Yeah, this doesn't look as fun as I first thought. So
right. Well, you can
yeah,
filibuster for a couple of
yeah,
seconds,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
just gonna I'm gonna look at this like.
So as Mark looking at this, I will talk the chat through what kind of what's happening. What happens in it is they have to write their song, as we've seen with the first one, about saving the world or whatever. But their daughters are in it now as well, which I didn't know. And they're putting a band together of all the great history people throughout time. Basically, the first film with them try to write their song on top of that, and then it's almost just a love letter to themselves of all the set pieces they went to and all the places they went to, and it just didn't feel right whatsoever. And I'm so scared that this is actually going to be cringe worth death, something terribleness. And I don't know, I've lost my enthusiasm for it and I hate it. And weirdly, watching Keanu Reeves try to act young and be like, oh, dude, just feels fucking awkward. Like you're an adult with a kid now, man. Like, there's just so many parts of it that I just don't get.
Yeah, so like I'm only like halfway through this trailer, and I can't really bring myself to finish it, but like that is what's bothering me right away is the fact that this is about them getting old and having to like kind of deal with shit. They don't seem like they've aged. Like they seem like
No,
they're still trying to play the same characters. It should be like we should see them kind of like I don't know, destroyed by the world and like having to rediscover their joy. Like you should see them in an office job or something like that. Like kind of just like pure. Oh my god! And they don't talk like that anymore. Like they're made to have short hair because they can't keep their job, or they're made to like look like they just have the soul sucked out of them, and then through their kids rediscover the joy of life or something like that. Right? Not I don't know, man. Fuck it. Not writing another person's movie for them again. It's
Yeah,
already been 5 minutes. Like,
yeah. It's like I think we have rewrote. We have came up with like 5 or 6 films over the last few months that would have been
mm.
amazing. Like our Shining, The Rock, you in The Shining.
Oh, that was good.
That was a good one. We've got the Sonic film. We've got a better, just from your very quick blurb, we've got a better Bill and Ted.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think we should just go into screenwriting. Like guys, we've got to fix your films.
No, I mean, what we'll do is we'll be those guys who sit at the end of the board and like everyone's like, here, giving other ideas, and everyone's like, yay, clap, 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 and we just go, shite.
Yeah. Just like, your maw. That's funnier.
High five.
Yeah. Not like, how did you get in? Well, it doesn't matter.
Like, yeah, like the purpose of this should be like the boredom of adulthood getting in the way of them being who they were supposed to be.
And then the regret of never achieving their dream. Because
Yes.
that's what it's about. Like, the film's actually about they meant to make that song that saves the world, and they've not done it yet. And now they're in their mid to late 40s,
Mhm.
and it should be like, we should have done this, and it never happened. And because we're not in the future, we're not big saviors. We're stuck getting, as you say, a real job. They have a real life. Like, God, they're all dressed as if they're still in the early 90s. Like, even
This-
our kids dress like that.
Like I get it. There are some people like, I mean, if you want to do that kind of thing, take really good example of the World's End, right?
Yeah.
That's how you do that kind of character who has never given up on their past, right? That's how you do it. You kind of they've still matured and they've still done things, but they might be trying to dress still like as they were, like, and it feels uncomfortable. Like, but they don't keep the same accent. They don't be like, yeah, dude, we're totally surfers and we're out having a ball. Like, nah, just doesn't work.
I know, right? It just really doesn't. But we could be
But
famous, Michael. Not
hang on,
Michael, Mark.
wait, right,
Mark.
hang on. You ready? Do you want to become famous? Do you want to have all the followers in the world? Well, you can now. All you have to do is go to bigfollows.com. That's right, bigfollows.com.
Before I went to bigfollows.com, I had only 2 followers. But now, all my followers are right here with me.
You're a goddamn rock star. Look at that guitar. How did you get so cool? That's Big Follows.
Bigfollows.com.
This is not a paid promotion.
We must be doing something right if we're starting to get these people. Like, we're doing something. Like, they want us.
Yeah, it's because of that like a 4 follower like fucking vibe we're sending out into the universe.
Yeah,
Right?
like, come watch 2 middle-aged guys freaking moan about Sonic films.
Middle-aged.
What age are you?
I'm not 50.
You think you're getting to 100?
I'm well getting to 100.
You don't sleep most nights.
I will race you there. Sleep is basically the trial version of death, and I'm not taking it, right?
Oh shit, does that mean I'm going to die early? Because, like, I have just came to terms with sleep very well.
Well.
Yeah,
That's your fucking problem, innit?
It's like I am the winner of sleep trials.
People just keep hitting that button. I'm doing it. Someday you're gonna pay.
It comes back all at once. Imagine you got a WinRAR bill through. Like they went, right, you're up to
I've
piss.
actually been tracking this. Like,
yeah. It's like, you've been using this since you were 12. Like, you're fucked.
No, but it doesn't come to you. It comes to your next of kin the moment you die, right? It's like, it's obvious they never were going to buy it, so here, you have to pay the bill. Like, shit.
Oh, I remember seeing a tweet ages ago. A guy paid for WinRAR. He was like, that's when you know you made it. You pay for WinRAR.
I mean, to be fair, like, probably should if I use it that much, but I don't use it that much. Like, if it was something I was using on the daily, I would give them the money they deserved, but
No, it's like an odd occasion I'll use it. Like, I don't use it very often.
Anyway, welcome to the WinRAR podcast,
Yes.
brought to you by BigFollows.com. No, but what are we going to watch next?
Oh,
Right,
that's
suggestions. Come on. I
Thomas,
heard Prince of Persia chat
Yeah.
because I think that's a good film. I seem to remember it being watchable.
And I have never seen it, so it's something for me to jump into.
Heck yeah. Well, we'll take on any suggestions pretty much, but I feel like we'd also really like it if it was available on Prime or Netflix.
That would be grand, and you know,
Or
people
within
get
my 199 budget that I'm willing to pay, because I paid for this Sonic movie, I'll have you know.
which is going to be our just for since people are having to think about films. Next week's deep dive, our first live one in a wee bit, is going to be Parasite, because the rental of that is $1.99. Like, how the fuck did they manage that? But it
That
is.
Dragon. Man,
Oh,
I don't think I've ever seen this film. Right, I'm gonna have to
oh
like
man. I,
search it out.
wait a minute. Thomas is suggesting a double bill. When was the last time we did a double bill? Double Dragon and Prince of Persia?
Double Bill and Double Ted in the one night.
Oh.
Right.
This is the last one
Okay.
to do a double bill.
A last hurrah. Like, man, I don't know if
You-
I can watch that many movies in a week. Like, this is gonna be hard. Like, I'll give it a try. Like, if it's available somewhere, I'll definitely watch
Yeah,
both.
yeah. If it turns out they're on Netflix and that it's a defo, or if I end up buying it, then we can all have a watch.
Hey, if this is Michael's return, like we may have to force him to watch 6 movies in 1 week.
Yeah.
He has to
Yes.
catch up. He has to watch every other video
Oh
game
yeah,
movie.
yeah. Because
Like-
we're not getting punished. Well, he's away
No.
moving house and all that, being a grown up and nonsense.
It's on Amazon. Thomas says so. We are in.
Double Dragon. Oh, I'm actually so excited about that because I loved that when I was younger. I
Don't even
really
remember.
did. It was good. It was fun.
I'm thinking like Three Ninjas or something. I don't know what film I'm thinking
my
of.
God, Three Ninjas was
Or
so
that
good
scene
as
from the Turtles where like all the ninjas are in like the arcade and like having a good fight. And shit. Oh my
the
god.
Turtles. That was a great film.
Well, maybe we can do that for the when we get out of this funk. Comic book movies.
Stay tuned from 1992. That is basically what it's been like. See, outside of the Sonic film, we have basically lived in the 90s for the past like 3 weeks.
It's because that's the key decade for shite films, and that's what we live off of. It's this kind of well, we thrive on the vibe
Right.
of terrible. Like,
So, what we're going to do is everybody in
like
the
you were
chat.
trying to reach in and grab me there. Like,
Just
yeah. It's that-
there we go, get the sleeve up for it. So, for everybody in the chat, this is you've got homework for next week for us. Since next week is the end of July, I want a theme. I want you guys to think of a theme for our August movies. We'll do it theme by theme, month by month. We'll have a theme for our Friday films.
Can your
Just a-
theme be good movies?
No, that's what these guys are for. Well, at least
Not
that's what
exclusive.
that's what I thought they were for until you showed up.
No, it's for critical thinking, is what it's for, Chris. It's for
Yeah,
critical
yeah.
thinking,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So, next week, since we look like we've got it, we're doing Double Dragon and possibly Prince of Persia as well. We'll see how that pans out over a week. Because I
Alright.
sometimes have days where I watch 4 films in a day. Like, I've
Wow.
started a wee keep note, and there was a day. Yeah, so the 26th of the 6th, I watched Geostorm, Steve Jobs, and The Social Network. Then on my birthday, I watched Mission Impossible Fallout and Equalizer 2 because I wanted to see Henry Cavill. That's why I watched it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Don't
it
we all?
made me want to do a mustache. Like, I'm still debating going back to a mustache.
Yeah.
And then, like, yesterday...
Just so you can never be in the next DC movie.
Yes.
Like, it'll-
So, next week, we will be deep diving Parasite. I will put up the information over the next couple of days of our streaming schedule because we'll work out an actual schedule now.
maybe think about when we're going to be doing it, because it might be better if we're doing a stream for it. Might be better to do it Wednesdays.
Yeah. That's what
don't
I mean. Like, we're going to work some stuff out to see how this works better because I want to take up a wee bit of gaming streaming again. I want to actually properly get into this now. So I was thinking about Sundays and Tuesdays were like 2 of the big days, and possibly Wednesday. But we'll work around everything. So but right now it's still Thursday at the moment, but that will change. And if it changes, we'll put it on our Twitter. And if you don't follow our Twitter, what's wrong with you? Get it followed. Or
Yeah.
that
I mean,
one-
how else will you know when we're going to be ranting at 6 o'clock every Friday on the dot every Friday
Yeah,
at
yeah.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock Fridays. 6 on a Friday.
Never late, never cancelled. We're always here, and we're always the worst.
Yeah. That's a brilliant outro, but I'm just not letting you have it.
No.
I'm just like, no, we're going to talk over it. Get it up, ease. But yeah, so, till next time, everyone, it's always a pleasure, and we have been always the worst. Goodbye.
Yay! Bye.